Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Pre-Market Prep. I hope you're having an amazing morning. Hopefully, you guys had an incredible day yesterday. Good morning, Peter. How are you doing today?
Carlos, I am great. How are you doing?
Doing good, man. Couldn't be better. Couldn't be better, my brother. So
Excellent.
doing good this morning. Glad you're doing good also. So sweet, man. That is awesome. Let's quick look at our gappers list. Then we'll get into our U.S. economic calendar, friends. And we have so much to go over today. So we're going to go quickly here. So we give our live traders enough time to get into their stuff there before the market open. Quick look at our gappers list. We got a lot of earnings coming up. Obviously, the big one, Tesla. We'll talk about that in just a second here. But we have UPS as well and some other ones on here gapping up this morning. OKLO at the bottom there. And then on the gap down, we got some names that we're very familiar with, like Uber, BA gapping down today this morning, and some big numbers up here as well. And of course, our low flow stocks that have been so active over the last, seems like 2 weeks now. PHUN is on here gapping down, and we have NNE as well gapping down this morning. Low flow stocks sitting at lower numbers there. So, all right, Peter, let's take a look at our U.S. economic calendar and what's happening for today.
Yeah, we got a couple of economic events. Finally, it's been pretty quiet out there for the last little while, so finally we got some stuff to talk about. Starting with, oh my God, I can't read that. Hold on. Starting with the initial and continuing jobless claims, those numbers just came out, pretty much on target, I would say. Initial jobless claims came out slightly under the forecast. 227,000 was the actual versus the forecast, although continuing jobless claims came out a little higher. So less new people looking for work, more people staying out there looking for work. The continuing jobless claims came out at a 1.9, we'll call it, 1.9 million. So it's just slightly higher than the forecast of 1.88 million. So I guess that, seems about on par with what we're expecting. So I don't expect the market to care too much. Are we reacting? No. Okay, so market's not really caring. We do have one speech from Fed chair at 8:45. 9:45, we do have both the services and manufacturing PMI numbers that are coming out, and then new home sales coming out at 10 a.m. So that's about it. Everything's front end loaded this morning. No afternoon data to come out. Later I guess the only day we have later this week is Friday. So tomorrow it's going to be quiet again with just consumer sentiment at 10 and a couple of minor things at 8:30. So fairly quiet week here on the economic calendar. I'm not sure if they're doing that on purpose or it's just chance. As we're leading into the election, they probably don't want to be upsetting the apple cart too much. But the big news, what is everybody talking about? It's not economic data. It's Tesla today. And we'll get to that on the gappers list because we've got a couple of earnings that are consuming the airwaves this morning.
We sure do. Starting with the first one on here, which is earnings as well. Pre-market this morning is UPS. So UPS right now up 8.2, 310,000 shares traded. And they got some positive news here. There's some growth stuff happening, Peter. So what's the latest and greatest on UPS?
They had their earnings and some good quarter for UPS. A little bit of a surprise quarter as they beat their revenue just by a little bit. Expected to be 22 point. It was so close, 22.23 billion. They came out at 22.25 billion. But the earnings on the bottom line was the bigger surprise, where they were expected to earn $1.65 per share. They earned $1.76. So that's a 6% increase over the estimates. They actually increased their guidance for the next quarter too, which I suppose makes sense. We're going into the Christmas season. Lots of packages expected to be delivered. So they said they're expecting extra volume, I guess, with the holiday season coming up, and think things are going to be good. So UPS, I don't mind this, actually. I've watched this numerous times on earnings. It's not as bad as I always think it would be. You just got to be careful with it. It is a NYSE stock, which means you got to wait for that volume to come in, and then sometimes you can get some decent moves. So we'll see. I mean, today, as you can see here by the chart, it typically doesn't move much, right? Those daily candles are very, very small. It's usually got a very low range. I don't know what the ATR is on this thing, but it can't be. Its average range is, well, it says $2 here, so $2.28. So today, obviously, we're going to get more than that, up 8%, over $10 already. So could be a good day for moves on UPS.
Yeah, I like UPS during this time of when they have earnings, so they can hopefully trade very well and give us some good opportunities. I'm gonna keep on my mind list, guys. Up 8.1 this morning, looking very good so far. Let's take a look at the next one on here is Peggy low flow. We'll get the flow in a second here, but Peggy is up, just got going like right now, up 36%, 480,000 shares trade. This is looking to continue to just pop here. Peter, any news on Peggy? I know this just happened. Pineapple Energy. Oh, I see they win a contract or something. Looks like
This is
they're flying this
this is a
morning.
micro float. Yeah, we got to be careful with this one. Less than 1 million shares available, only about 900,000 shares in the float out there. Yeah, it looks like they're completing some commercial installations that they had committed to. 8.5 megawatts worth of energy installations valued at about 11 million. The importance here for the company is that when they complete that, they get paid. So that's important because they agreed to complete it on a letter of intent. I don't think this is going to continue. I think this is just going to pop for a few minutes here. We'll get a little bit of volume and then it's going to fade off. That's my opinion, but I could be wrong. Yeah, it doesn't feel like a
Yeah.
tradable thing once the opening bell rings.
Yeah, yeah, low flow flying here again, extremely low flow. So be very cautious with that one. Let's take a look at one that we obviously have been looking at since last night. We've been looking at it pretty much for the last 3 weeks, especially after the Robo stuff. This just went sideways for about 2, 3 weeks almost. And yesterday, obviously, with earnings, Peters, they got some good action out of it. There is Jerome Powell calling Peter to let him know what is going on with the markets today, and any insights Peter will let us know in just a second here. But yeah, Peter, latest and greatest on Tesla after their earnings last night.
Yeah, sorry, somebody's deciding to call the home phone. Yeah, look, everybody's talking about Tesla. So, surprise beat on their numbers. So, they actually basically just hit their revenue. I mean, different reports are saying whether they're slightly under, slightly over on revenue, but the bottom line earnings is really the big number that was a surprise. Probably more important than all of that was the fact that after the comments from the CFO at the press conference, Elon went on to say that he expects a 20 to 30% growth in electric vehicle sales in the next year. That's no data to back that up. That's just his gut feel, and it feels like we're popping after hours somewhat because of that. I don't know. I mean, look, you don't necessarily want to bet against him. He's been right more often than he's been wrong, but I'm suspicious. I have to admit, I'm a skeptic. This is just everybody wants to see the good news. Of course, the talk is all about the robo taxis and the Optimus robots, but none of that is going to be hitting in the next few quarters. Whoops. So that's not a financial impact for the next year because he's promised that he's going to be producing these things in quantity by 2027 roughly. I don't know. I mean, yeah, he did make statements. There were statements made about they're going to be producing millions of these over the next couple of years. But again, you know what? The one place he's consistently wrong is hitting his deadlines. So there may be some letdown if that stuff doesn't start to hit actual production at his forecast. So I don't know. I mean, look, in the short term, it feels like we've got a bullish sentiment on Tesla. So why would you not go with it? In fact, this morning, no fewer than 8 ratings agencies played the Me Too game and just reiterated their targets. They didn't change them. None of them changed their targets on Tesla. They just went out with statements saying they're reiterating their growth targets on Tesla. It felt like they just were trying to get part of the headline, right? They wanted to be part of the news cycle, getting their name out there. So yeah, like everybody's jumping on board, which often happens with Tesla. And I mean, the momentum is great so far this morning. With what are we at? 8 million shares traded so far, and they're up $30. So we can't argue that they are absolutely in play. They've bridged that gap that they had created, I guess, after the robotaxi event. So it looks good to be off to the races this morning. So I figure you pretty much got to put it on your list. It's going to be in play one way or the other.
All right, excellent. I agree
Goes.
with that, Peter. Tesla looking really good this morning, up 14%, 8.1 million shares traded. So gonna be on my list right under here. Looks under UPS. So we have UPS and we have Tesla, two really good ones in play, both with earnings today. Next on the list, LRCX. This is up 6.2, just barely making our filter here for 200,000 shares traded. It has 205. It doesn't look good in the pre-market. I don't think the Slam research is going to trade well. I'm going to keep this off my list. I'm sure we'll find better things to look at today. Peter, anything you like on this one?
No, I agree with you. I think it's worth moving past.
Yeah. Head over to Coin. So I see Coin on the list this morning, and these guys are up 3%, 300,000 shares traded. Had a red day yesterday, gap down and sold off pretty nicely, actually. Today, they're kind of gaining some of that back as they're bouncing this morning. So it'll be interesting. You can look at Coin. We also look at our buddies like Mara. Could also be another one that you take a look at today. These guys are slightly up as well, not as much as Coin, but they do have better volume. And you guys know the rest of the suspects. You have Clean Spark and some other ones you can look at. I'm gonna put Mara on my secondary and Coin there as well, just to have them. We can look at them later, see how they look, and if we see something good on Coin continues to develop, we can always move Coin up to the main list here. Peter, anything on Bitcoin besides just a bounce from yesterday's weakness?
No, I mean, Bitcoin prices have a little bit of a bounce. Coin's earnings aren't until next week, so yeah, I think they're going to remain pretty quiet until then.
All right, there you go. Take a look at the next one on here, IREN, which I believe is it? No, it's Iris Energy.
It, it's
Again, it
it's a
doesn't look
crypto
good,
related.
but it's Bitcoin, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
doesn't look good though. This is the least of my favorite out of all of them. So yeah, we'll move on past this. We'll look at IonQ. It's on deck today. IonQ, the last month, all October, really. If you look at all October on the daily, has been really cranking here. So making some good way all the way up to 16. I mean, this thing was at $7 and now it's 16. So could be interesting. How did it trade yesterday? Yesterday had a pop and then actually a very nice aggressive sell-off. So that could be fun. Looks to be in play. I haven't been watching it, I haven't been watching it lately, so it's hard to make a decision on this one. Gonna throw it on the secondary for now and see if anything good comes out of that. Peter, this is one of our good old buddies back in the day. Do you like it so far, the way it's been trading the last couple of days?
I haven't really watched it, so I don't know. I know that it was mentioned in the room yesterday as we were going into the close at the fact that it was moving fairly well. Looking at the daily, I mean, it sort of looks impressive over the last couple of weeks, but yeah, I haven't watched it, so I can't really say.
Yep, same here. Have not really been paying attention to it. So secondary for now, we can always come back to that one. And then Clean Spark, we spoke about this one again, just crypto stocks bouncing back a little bit. Clean Spark being one of them, but my favorite Mara and Coin are on deck right now, at least for the moment. We have Tao, Chinese education company. I just don't like the way this moves, don't like the way it trades, don't like the volume on it. So we'll leave that alone. Next on here, OKLO. It's moving down after a couple of really massive gains here in last week and some this week. Getting actually it gapped down yesterday. It's moving up today. It's actually up 2.5, but the overall trend has been on the weaker side. So maybe the fun is over. They still got a million shares traded here. You do have shares for sure with Interactive Brokers. So if you're interested in that, there is an opportunity there. Um, I'm not a fan, and the float on this is not a low float. I can't tell where it's sitting at right now, but yeah, Peter, thoughts on OKLO?
You know, like you said, they've sort of been in play quite a bit over the last few weeks, and uh, not my choice of trade. I have tried to watch them. I haven't really liked the price action. I think it's probably not heavily institutionally traded, which is why the movement is not the way I expect. But I can't say there hasn't been an opportunity on it. Like, it has had some decent moves if you sort of look at the way it's gone over the day, but not following my particular strategies.
Yeah, yeah, I agree there. That covers our gap up, Francis. A lot on there. We picked up a few good ones, UPS, Tesla, and then we got some Bitcoin stocks here as well. All right, Peter, anything else you like on the gap up this morning?
For gap up, well, just one I'll mention for fun. Well, how about earnings? Let's start with an actual practical thing. Dow Jones, it's not Dow Jones, DOW, Dow Chemical. That's what it is. I should know that. Dow Chemical, anyways, had earnings. There's a whole bunch of earnings overnight. Not a lot that we would trade, but I'll mention Dow that they beat top and bottom line, had a good quarter. They're only gapping up about 1% on very low volume, which is typical for them pre-market. The fun one that I was going to mention is just JOBY. You know how I love my air taxis. Just thought I'd mention them. They're only incidentally mentioned in the news this morning because the FAA actually released US based requirements for air taxis, safety requirements, pilot training requirements. Those rules have been released now, which allows these manufacturers to make sure that they are meeting the guidelines so that they can have air taxi service available in the US. I mean, we've been sort of talking about this. We know it's been trialed in other countries, but coming soon to an airport near you. I know, Carlos, they've been talking about these for the New York and New Jersey area, trying to get people from Manhattan out to the airports. I will stick to my what I've been saying, man. I am not one of the first customers of an air taxi. I think it's cool. I love the idea. Not going first. So
Yeah, yeah,
um,
I get you. I seen one of these parked, and they're not landing right on Newark. They're like it's off to the highway, so they have like a helicopter place there, and I saw one parked there, and it looks pretty nice. But yeah,
okay.
man, I
Well,
want to see that. I want to see that fly a few times for about a year or two before I jump on one of those. So yeah, yeah.
exactly.
Um,
Once they've got a good year worth of operation in the U.S., with a good safety record, then by all means, I'll be in on the fun. But I'm going to let others do it first. I don't need to be an early adopter on that bad boy. But anyways, it is interesting that the FAA has agreed to actual regulations to allow these to fly. Because I mean, think of how long it took them to come up with drone requirements. They seem to be a little bit faster here, so I guess they're sensing that there's a demand. There's a couple of different companies. Joby's the one we watch. There's another U.S. based company called Archer, both of which are making these air taxis, both autonomous and manned air taxis. So yeah, we'll see what happens with them. I'm skeptical. It seems like it's a risky endeavor, but it'll be cool. Like, hey, I've been saying for years, the Jetsons promised me flying cars back when I was a kid, and we haven't seen it yet. So, um, I'm all for it if we can do it safely.
yeah, yeah. Let's see, man. Let's see. All right, so that's a JOBY. If you're interested in that technology, that is on there. Again, moving up slightly this morning. Not a great intraday trading one, but it's always fun to see where that technology is going. Let's take a look at our gap down this morning, friends. We got a couple on here, starting with BYON. So BYON is down at 19%. So what's up, Peter? Just share, man. We want to laugh too.
I just Well, I just sorry, Bugsy is in the chat room is saying that don't worry, they'll have parachutes for the air taxis soon. I just want to say no, they won't. Um, have you ever sort of thought about the fact that they don't equip helicopters with parachutes? Do you know why? Because you can't parachute out of a helicopter. If the helicopter starts to drop and you leave the helicopter, you're going up into the rotor. You don't abort on a falling helicopter. Same thing with the air taxis. If it starts to fall, there's no way out. Like now you got 8 blades above you or whatever that are, spinning. Yeah, you don't get out of one of those once something goes wrong. So anyways, that's what's making me laugh. I was just it's you can parachute out of a plane, but yeah, you're not parachuting out of a helicopter. Anyways.
Yeah, a little more complicated. All right, let's take a look here at BYON is beyond, and these guys are down 20%, 425,000 shares traded this morning. Lower price stock. Low, not so low. I can and tell here is orange. I can't see the number. 45. So 45 million shares flow. So not too bad. Um, Peter, what's the news on it? Leading the gap down list today.
Well, I'm gonna have to look it up. BYON. This is oh, look at the Beyond. I have we never we've looked at all the other ones in this space, eh? Like remember Bed Bath and Beyond and all the others. I never looked at Beyond, really. Is this like them rebranded or something? Huh.
It says retail
Anyways,
sector, so maybe it's yeah, maybe it is.
let's see. Is BBB, what was it? BBY? No, that's Best Buy. BBBY. Oh, maybe they've rebranded. BBBY doesn't exist anymore. So BYON seems to be the rebranded
Mm.
Bed Bath and Beyond. They've now, it's their parent company, which is Beyond Inc. They had earnings. Anyways, the reason why they're on here, they had earnings. And I guess I shouldn't be surprised. It looks like they had an unfavorable quarter. In fact, they've also announced they're going to be cutting their workforce by about 20%. So yeah, it's I guess never a good quarter when you have to get a reduction in staff by 20%. That's a lot of staff. That's a large percentage of your staff, anyways. Yeah, and they're. I'm just looking at their third quarter results. Not good. They orders delivered decreased by about 19%. They say that their active customers increased by 21%, but that doesn't impress anybody as really just we've got bargain basement, seeking customers here, and revenue was down about 16%. So yeah, it's they're suffering here. Let alone all of that, they also lost money in the quarter. So yeah, Carlos, I don't never watch this trade. I don't know how it trades. Just looking at the chart here, this ticker's been around for longer than I would have expected. So it's been around since at least 2019. So it's not that new. 2016, 15. This is confusing to me. So, but anyways, it's a $7 stock on the New York Stock Exchange with only 400,000 shares. I'm not even going to look at it.
Yeah, that doesn't look good. So I'll leave it alone there. But now we know what that is. It's beyond the me. It's the new ticker is BYON. NNE is on here, and this is a low flow stock that's been trading at 17 million shares flow. Today they got 2 million shares flow so far. I don't have shares to short on this with Interactive Brokers, so there's no fun for us there. Again, fun might be over on this one as it continues to drop there. Had a couple of days where it did well, up to 27 from like 18, 17. Now right back down. So not going to be on my list again. Low flow stock. Be very careful on this one. We had
Yeah.
speaking of low flow, we had someone yesterday send me a private message with a question here in the chat. One of our members asking us, what do we consider the range of low flow, mid flow, and large flow? So usually, Peter, you can help me with this a little bit. Below 50, we consider low flow, right? That's kind of like the number. I consider under 20 extremely low flow. There are some stuff between 30 and 40 that do okay, close to 50 do okay, but below 50, generally, you want to be careful. And you also want to think about the price, right? The lower the price, the more lowish activities that it can have. And then what we consider mid flow, 50 to what, Peter? What are we looking at here? I'm always confused with that
About
number. Is
100.
it 150 million?
50 to 100.
About
Yeah.
100? Okay. So 50 to
Yeah.
100 is mid flow stocks, and then above that, you're looking at extremely large float. So that's what we consider that. And we do have that in our education somewhere as well. All right. So just wanted to make sure we answer that question. So Peter, on NNE, again, not looking good for the way we trade here. I know the way you trade, this doesn't look good either. But
No.
again, just be careful, guys, if you do
They
like
do
this one.
have news. They had a secondary offering, so they've issued a whole bunch of shares, 2.1 million shares at $17. So that's not usually good tradable news.
Yeah, not great. Let's take a look here at the next one. It's going to be fun. Speaking of another low flow stock, this one is on here today. Down 7%, 1.6 million shares traded. Normally, I would say the fun is over, but this could just be a healthy pullback given how much the stock has moved. So I wouldn't be shocked if we see this back at the highs of the last two trading days. So be careful on this one. It has 1.6 million shares traded. We cannot short it with Interactive Brokers. We don't have shares for that. So again, be careful. It is in play. I won't consider this completely coming back down to 9. Let's see how it does today, right? Let's see if it can hold this support here. But again, for my strategy, doesn't do very well. I will have it here for entertainment purposes. It has been fun watching this thing go. So I'm going to do the same today. I'm going to have it on here and see if we can recover from this drop we're getting this morning. All right, next on here we have a CAR, so CAR R, so CARR this morning, down 5.7, 240,000 shares traded. Carrier Global. I know we've seen this before. I can't remember what the stock is about, but they're down quite a bit. But it looks ugly. Pre-market. This is pure trash, guys. So throw the truck on this thing. Doesn't look good. I don't like it. Oh, did we get? Is that the same sound effect? That's a little bit better. It's a little bit
Yeah,
better.
no, it's the same sound.
It's the same
Same
one.
sound.
I haven't had a
Oh,
chance
the
to
same one.
change it.
It's
Okay,
all good.
alright. I
That
thought I was
works.
trying to give you the benefit of that. Sounded good. See, it's growing on me. That happens, right? You see something for the first time, like, "Oh, that's ugly as heck." And you see it a couple of times, like, "Oh, it's not that bad," right? So the sound is growing on me. Let's roll it again. Oh, there it is.
My
Okay.
speaking of my
Okay,
my
Peter.
wife, we were driving the other day, and my wife saw a Cybertruck, and I didn't realize she
Yeah,
absolutely hates it. She hates it. She like it was a
yeah.
black. It was like a matte black, and they are quite large in person. Like we don't get many in this area, so but
They're
there is one
big.
driving
Yeah.
around the streets, and I was driving with her, and she saw it. And she's like, "Oh my god, that is so disgusting! Oh, it's horrible! Oh, look at this big size of it, and it looks terrible." I'm like, "Okay, calm down. It's I don't know. It's okay. I don't mean I don't
Not that
love them,
bad.
but yeah, if I showed up with one, she'd be very upset." So.
I'm sure. Do not do
um,
do not trade the Porsche for that. Sure. Don't do that.
Uh, you're talking about CARR, anyways. This is Carrier Global
Yep.
Corporation. They make the air conditioners and other heavy equipment. They missed their numbers. They had earnings this morning, missed their numbers, both top and bottom line. So that's why it's looking so ugly. But yeah, not a good trading stock.
Don't like it. We'll move on from here. Next one on here is NEM. This is down 4.6, so big drop for them. Newmont, we've seen this before. I think they're foreign, but I don't remember. Am I confusing this one? Let me check
No,
the
they're a
name up here.
US gold company,
Are US?
gold
Okay.
mining.
All right, so yeah, I'm confusing this one. Um, Again, not a great intraday trading company, so I'll leave it alone, guys. But it is down here quite a bit this morning. Peter, anything to speak on this one?
Earnings is why they're here. They actually beat on revenue, but missed on their bottom line profit. So the costs were a little bit higher, or significantly higher than expected. So that's why we're seeing them gap down.
All right. Next three, we'll look at Uber, DJT, and BA. Let's start with Uber here this morning. These guys are down 3.2, 353,000 shares traded. If you look at the daily, they had a huge gap up and a massive move all October, looks like, right? They started at 72, hit all the way as high as almost 87, 86.90 here. And then was just kind of right back down here in the last 2 weeks or so. So gapping down today. Peter, something happened last night, looks like, after hours. I don't think they had earnings, but I'm not sure. Anything going on with Uber?
They didn't. As a little bit of an aside to the big press conference they had last night, the earnings press conference, Elon, he says things. He claims that Tesla is going to be opening. Oh my God, I can't speak. Tesla is going to start a ride hailing service similar to Uber in 2 states. So that obviously, I think that's what's taking Uber down directly because, of course, Uber doesn't want to be competing directly with Tesla. Now, that being said, they don't have approval to do that. They haven't got the service up and running. So, I don't know if that's just Musk, talking out the out of turn a little bit, and are there some like executives in the background going, "Damn it, we told you not to say anything. We're not ready with those plans," or if it's really, really, in the works. It's tough to tell, but Uber's reacting, I believe, because of that statement.
Uh, that sounds familiar. We have a CEO that likes to do that too. We're not ready for this. As you know, it's being
Yeah,
broadcast on YouTube Live. Uh,
that's
we
right.
love our guys.
He'll
All
tell
right, here,
us. He'll tell us, don't
um,
talk about it, and then what's the first thing he
don't
does?
say
Right?
anything. Yeah.
Don't say
Hey guys,
anything,
we're
and then he's
thinking
like, "Hey,
about
guess
this.
what, guys? Uh,
Uh, we'll start next week. I'm like, we told you 2 months. Next week. I'm like, okay, let's do it.
yeah,
Um, yeah, if I'm Uber, I'm calling Elon and say, hey, listen, man, we got to partner with this. You can't do this to us, right? So I'm making a call and figuring this out. But here's Uber. How well it's going to trade, who knows? Uber can be so choppy at times. It is down 3% here, 360,000 shares traded. Worth adding as a secondary. I mean, this is not good news for them, even if it's not approved. Elon, he's very persistent with things. So if he says something, he's going to try to go the full length as much as he can. So we'll see how this affects them today. But again, been dropping here, big gap down, or not big, but decent gap down today. Worth taking a look at. Let's see if this thing gets any volume here. DJT has been on our radar for quite a while here. They actually have been trading much, much better. And you can see here we're down 2.8, 2.2 million shares. R2 borrow and DJT. I thought we had shares for sure on this. It's like it's on and off, I think, right? With Interactive Brokers.
yeah.
So we don't have today. I believe we had like 2 days ago we had. So
Mm,
that's a bummer. But yeah, it looks good, man. Pre-market looks good. Daily looks good.
yeah.
Yesterday was atrocious. Yesterday was not a good day. I mean, look at this daily here, intraday. This looks brutal. But I do gotta say they had some really good days before that. So Peter, what's your thoughts on DJT? I mean, we can short it, so not good for us.
Yeah, I mean, I it makes sense to me that they're sort of coming on and off the availability for short. There's probably not a lot of institutional volume that's being held on this, so that would means that it would be spotty as to whether you have short shares that are available for shorting against. So, um, I'm not sure from a tradable point of view. Like you said, Carlos, it's hit or miss. You got to be careful as we get to election cycle. This is just going to get a little more volatile, I would expect, whichever direction it goes. I talked about a couple of days ago. I mentioned how they just keep drip feeding these little announcements. Yesterday, they did it again, where Truth Plus is now streaming on Amazon Fire TV. Again, I don't actually know what is streaming, but every day they're looking to announce another little platform. Like usually when you see these, they're like Truth Plus is available, and then they'll list like 15 platforms it's available on. Here they're giving like one every day. Now whether they're actually making it available on one every day, or this is just how they're choosing to approach the media management, I don't know. But what really matters is anybody using it, right? What would be the usage volumes? Is it adding? Is there any revenue? Is anybody advertising on it? Like, it's unclear how this is making DJT money, but they keep trying to keep their name out in the media, I guess, by drip feeding these announcements every single day. So we'll see if that works as they head into the elections. I mean, its future is going to be very dependent upon the election results, of course. So we'll just have to find that out together, as we're, I guess, a little bit less than 2 weeks away, 10 days or so, 12 days away from this
Yeah,
election. Um,
yeah. This will
you
definitely be in play the morning after the election. We'll see
mm,
how it plays out here. Um,
yep.
but yeah, should be a lot of fun. If it goes one way, let's hope we have shorts. If it goes the other way, let's hope we're in early if we can
Right.
find a play here. Let's go up to BA. Last one on the gap down, gap down list this morning. They are down 2.4, 744,000 shares traded. Again, they've been in play with some good news, bad news this morning, gapping down. Peter, anything new on BA?
I didn't look them up this morning, so I don't know. I mean, we do have some bad news generally out of the airline sector. We have a couple of airlines with earnings. I'm going to get to those in a minute. But Boeing sometimes moves with the airlines. I do see that apparently the machinists rejected the contract. They had a tentative deal, I thought, with the machinists, but it looks like was not good enough. They rejected the offer, and it looks like they're going back on strike. So pretty that is pretty big news now that I'm seeing it. Boeing, like we've said many times, Boeing has an amazing ability to more or less, sort of shrug off the declines that you think it should. With the offer being rejected, they offered a $23,000 raise to the machinists. They rejected that. The fact that it's only gapping down 2% is pretty impressive. So Boeing, who knows? It could recover this over the course of the day or continue to slide. So I guess it feels like it's probably going to be in play. The volume's surprisingly low for that type of news, but under 1 million shares. Maybe I'll watch it. I'm not sure. I keep hoping for good trading on Boeing and keep getting disappointed. So
Yeah. Secondary for now. We'll take a look at it in a couple of minutes here. All right, friends, let's take a look at some of the tickers you guys might actually no. Peter, first what do you have in your end that you like?
Well, I had airlines on the gap down list because they both were the two airlines that are reported were American Airlines and Southwest, so AAL. But I noticed AAL just jumped into the green mere moments ago, or a couple of minutes ago, anyways, as they are making a move up here. They had earnings, and they actually beat their numbers, so they did have a good quarter, and are thinking that there's going to be a strong holiday travel season. So generally good news for American Airline. There is some bad news out on American Airline. I thought they were gapping down because they also got hit with a $50 million fine for improperly treating the disabled. They have, of course, lots of unfortunately videos and stories of people in wheelchairs being given improper treatment, people's wheelchairs themselves when they're loading into a plane being, of course, thrown around and dropped off of ramps and stuff like that. So never good news when you're mistreating the disabled, and they had a big fine as a result of that. But it looks like AAL's making a little bit of recovery. Southwest is a little quieter. They also had a good quarter. LUV is the ticker on Southwest, if you remember. It's love. Pretty innocuous. They beat their numbers top and bottom line. Did not make any statements on their forward-looking guidance that I saw. So, those are the two airlines that are in play. So if you like your airlines, maybe you want to keep an eye on American. In earnings, we also had a couple. Honeywell had earnings. HON, not typically a big trader, but big company, not a big trading company. They had a mixed results, missed on revenue, beat on bottom line. And I'll just mention NASDAQ because they were trading. NDAQ is the actual ticker for NASDAQ as a company, which is the company that runs the stock exchange. And again, it's always ironic to me that the company that runs the stock exchange is a very poorly trading stock. So it's just not fun to trade. But they had a good quarter. So good job, everybody. They made their you guys are trading lots of volume. They beat their top and bottom line numbers. So well done, NASDAQ. But anyways, that's it. That's what I had for earnings and on my gappers. Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Friends, let's take a look at some of the stuff that you guys are looking at this morning. We'll look at AMD. I see many people mentioning AMD this morning. Oh, AMD is starting to get going here. Up 1.8, 673,000 shares traded. You know what? We'll watch AMD today. I have not looked at AMD in a very, very long time. Maybe today's their day here as they're moving higher. Obviously, that's going to make me think about NVIDIA as it just hovers slightly below their all-time highs here. 5.5 million shares traded right now, up 1%. I'll have these at least on a secondary for now. So I'm going to go with NVIDIA. It's got some room to run here. They've been just hanging out here for some time, not doing a whole lot. I think it's worth watching. I see many people mentioning NNE, and yes, that is in play. It is on our gappers list. Again, low flow stock dropping here. I don't have shares for sure. So if you like it, just be very careful. The float on this we mentioned, I think, is 17 million. So just be mindful of that if you do decide to watch this one. But yes, it is in play, pulling back a little bit. And they did have some news that Peter shared earlier today in the show there. Um, All right, let's take a look at NVIDIA we looked at, BA we looked at with the rejection, NVIDIA again. Let's see if anything else. Okay, that's in our chat. Thank you guys over in our YouTube chat. Let's take a look what you guys like this morning. AMD, BA. We looked at a lot of these battles. We'll look at yours here. SoFi. SoFi is going today. Oh, look at this. Good daily. Nice breakout of the daily up 4.3, 1.5 million shares traded. This stock is a hit or miss, can trade very well, but we've seen it also be horrible. So just got to be careful with it. Today seems to be in play here, and they have earnings coming up on the 29th, I see. So it's not that. Not sure what's driving them today, but uh, worth looking at if it can hold this year. Peter, what's your thoughts on SoFi? I know a lot of the members like this one.
I don't. I typically have avoided watching it because I did try and trade it a few months ago and was not. I just it gave me like heartburn. So I've been avoiding it. I don't. When are their earnings? Their earnings have got to be coming up sometime soon. But I'll have to admit I don't know exactly when. Let's see here.
Yeah,
Let's
it's
take
the
a look it
29th.
up.
I've seen here pre-market.
The 29th.
Pre-market
Yeah,
29th.
before the market.
Mhm.
Yeah, there you go. So
Yep.
so that's not it. Not earnings
It's
yet.
not
It's
that,
not time
but
for it.
yeah. Looks good. Let's see. We'll have it here. I like the volume. I like the breakout on the daily. It's a hit or miss. I'm not in love with it, but I think it's worth watching today. But I'll see towards 9:30 Nvidia, BA, and Uber, see how those look as we get closer to that. All right, friends, let's stop here. Let's take a look at what's happening on this beautiful Thursday, day of mentorship. Peter's going to give you the lineup for today. We'll come back and do some levels for these four that I have here, and then we'll let you know what our team is watching.
Yeah, I can't believe it's Thursday already, but here we are. So Thursday means that it's mentorship day, and we have 4 different mentorship sessions for you to take advantage of. Starting at 11 o'clock today, so an hour and a half after the market opens, John will peel off into the webinar room and give you a focus session on answering any questions you want, talking about strategies, how to approach the market. It's a great session if you want to get your questions answered. So I would urge you to join him at 11 a.m. if you're an elite member in the webinar room. And then Jared and Megan take over the airwaves at the webinar room talking options. And not only are they entertaining, but they're educational as well. So that's at 2. And then we switch our focus back to equities with Lenny at 4 p.m. right at the market close. And last but not least, the ever popular Thursday mentorship session happening at 8 p.m. tonight. So busy day with those 4 mentorship sessions happening. As always, go to bearbulltraders.com. We got membership options. Check them out. I'm not going to list them today. If you want to join us, we would love to have you. So hopefully we'll see you in the chat room sometime soon if you're not there already. We can go right back to setting levels, Carlos.
All right, excellent. Let's jump right into that, friends. If you haven't done so, guys, over on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. I really appreciate it. It does help us out a ton. So thank you for that. Where are we sitting at today? I have not looked. Let me refresh here. And as usual, I like to look at the ad that we're getting. What ad are we getting
and
here? Let's see what's the ad of the day.
And I'll remind our moderators, don't forget to get your lists in.
Yeah. Look at this. It's a bet today. This is probably because they heard you saying Bed Bath and Beyond. And I'm getting a bed ad here. So look at this.
Okay.
The algos are doing their things. My phones, everything. They're listening in, man. They know what we're doing.
They're
We're sitting at 152 likes. We'd love to be a little bit higher if you can, guys. Help us there to get to 300. Really, really appreciate it. All right. Jumping in,
We'll have
guys.
to
Do
see
some
if,
levels. UPS. Yeah.
I'll have to see if my ads are a day ahead of you because I was getting a bed ads yesterday. Today I'm getting like dentistry ads, so we'll see if you get those tomorrow.
Oh, okay. Good. Let's keep track of this. All right, friends. UPS. Wow, UPS is just on fire here, man. It continues to go up 11% now, breaking new pre-market highs. We'll market there at 145.81 for now, but it is on fire. So towards the bottom, we're gonna do some levels here off the daily. Obviously, 136 is a good one. The low of the pre-market all the way down at 132.50. Let's go to the left here. We do have some more levels we can take off here. To the left side of this is going to be 148.18, and then we also have all the way up here on the daily 150.97. Between the price action now and the high of the low of the pre-market, we got 142 158. There's so many levels in here just because how big this move is. And we also have 139.49. So plenty of levels in here. And the levels we picked off the daily, if you look in our 5 minute chart, you can see here how well we've been kind of flirting with those this morning. So definitely it is paying attention to some of these daily levels that we have in place. One more in case this thing is going to take off here. We're looking at 153.92. So plenty of levels for UPS, guys. You're all set on that one. Let's take a look at Tesla. Big move for them today. And as we do this, Brian, whenever you're ready, hop on in and we'll switch over to you, my friend. Brian's going to be taking you guys through the market open today. So look forward to him trading with you guys. 253.13 is the low of the pre-market, and the high on Tesla sitting at 245, up almost 15% today. 10 million shares traded. So Tesla is crushing it right now. 250.74, big level here, and their recent high over at 265.69. Below the pre-market low, in case we do decide to change directions here, we do have 229.37. Quick look on AMD now. If we look at AMD this morning, pretty much towards the bottom, highs and lows for the last 2 trading days. So you're pretty much covered there. Even your pre-market low is kind of slamming into the highs and lows for the last 2 trading days. So don't need to do anything there. I'm going to mark down the high of the pre-market at 155.80. And then above this, you do have the highs from 2 days ago. Above that, you do have 157.98. And above that, we're going to mark down 160.44. So I think that's pretty good for AMD. I haven't looked at AMD in quite some time. Looking forward to see what they do this morning. SoFi, this is probably my least favorite on this list. It's a hit or miss. They look good right now. They got some volume. They're up 4%. So I'm hoping that they can trade well. I mean, they can be very choppy at the market open and not give you great moves. But let's see. High of the pre-market, 1092. I believe we've been higher on this. So let me just go back to the left here. Yes, we have. Just recently, the most recent is last year in July. So July timeframe, we have a pop all the way to 1169 on SoFi. So volume looks good. I like the daily breakout on this thing. Let's see if we can get some good trading out of this. All right, friends, as we wait for Brian to hop on in, Peter, take us through what our team is watching this morning.
All right, our moderators have got their lists, or they're starting to get their lists in. We'll start at the top. Letty's always in first with a full list here, watching Tesla, AMD, NVIDIA, UPS, SoFi, Uber, Las Vegas Sands, LVS, KDP, which I don't even know what the heck that is, and American Airlines. Megan's keeping it tight as always, watching Tesla and OKLO. Thor's going to be watching Tesla, AMD, and NVIDIA. And Microsoft. So some of the Magnificent Seven in there, just keeping it close here, and some of his futures. I'm going to be watching AMD, Tesla, and NVIDIA. Of course, everybody, I think, is watching Tesla today. Well, maybe not everybody. But on my secondary list, I'll put Boeing, UPS, and AAL. Pierre is going to be watching AMD, NVIDIA, Apple, Boeing, and Uber, Avi, Tesla, NVIDIA, AMD, and Amazon. No surprise there. We've got one IPO and a couple of SPACs, nothing major. We did have a few new IPOs open yesterday. Nothing really tradable, unfortunately. Anyways, moving on down, we've got Pierre who's going to be watching AMD, NVIDIA, Apple, BA, and Uber. Did I say that already? Anyways, if I did, sorry about that. Brendan's going to be watching Tesla, AMD, and NVIDIA. Brian, the same, plus OKLO. So there you go. That's what our moderators are looking at this morning. We have got some live trading. The second last day for Brian. So everybody, I want you to enjoy Brian here today and tomorrow because he's going on vacation. He doesn't often take vacation, but when he does it big. So he's heading off Europe ways. He's going to have almost 2 weeks off. So it should be a great time for him. But he's here live trading today and tomorrow. And I think today, is it Thor? He's being joined by Thor. Is that the plan?
I believe that's what I saw, but we'll see just now. I see Brian is ready to go. Oh, look at you guys matching.
Brian's
You
here.
got the memo. Green
He's not
today. There you go.
He's not quite ready to go. Brian's got to turn on the donut sign.
Am I on?
You're
on. Yeah,
you're here.
Okay.
Well, but
Good deal.
The neon's not glowing. Yeah, throws me off every time if I don't see that glowing behind you.
Yeah, I got distracted looking for trades that I like, and plus I've been watching Tesla.
Here's your song quote of the morning, Brian. Turn on the red light.
There you go. I like that.
What is
Turn
that?
on the red light.
What does that make your name?
Yep.
What does that make your name this morning?
Roxanne.
There you go.
Baby.
Thank you, everyone. There you go. All right.
All right.
Have a good trading morning, everybody. Trade smart. Carlos and I are signing off, so have a great one, and we will see you again tomorrow morning.
Yeah, absolutely.
All
Friends.
right.
Take care. Brian, I think your sound might be coming from your headphones and not your mic. I know your mic sounds awesome when you have it on. So I think it might be picking up on your headphones, but if it's not a big deal,
Okay.
don't worry about it. But just wanted to let you know. Yeah.
How does
All right, friends. Take care.
yeah. All right. Oh,
If you go into
still working on-
vMix,
Yep.
click on the settings there. It'll tell you which microphone it's using.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, on the browser you can select your other mic.
Yeah.
It doesn't give me an option to choose what mic I use. So
Oh.
All right, no worries about it, man. We'll
choice.
get ready for the market open. We can figure this out later.
Okay.
No worries.
Well, what does it sound like? Should I go back to yesterday's setup? What do you
You
think?
sound like you're
No,
calling
yeah,
into
I
a
was-
radio show.
Okay. We'll switch up aids
Yeah.
here. I kind of thought this might work, but okay.
Yeah.
All right, we'll wait for Brian to set that up, friends. Let's take a look here. SoFi trying to get to the pre-market high. SPY is not doing much, and UPS kind of stalling a little bit. So we got a good list today, man. It's gonna be fun, especially with these earnings that we have lined up. We lost Brian, who's a good man. Hopefully he didn't make it worse than what it was. All right, guys. But yeah, looking forward to today's open. Let's see, UPS. I might end up moving. So I like SoFi, but I might end up moving this down. I might end up putting like BA looks very active. And Nvidia can never go wrong with that. So I might end up putting one of these up on my main list this morning. Going through my secondary, I have coin on here. If I look at coin right now, we're just kind of hanging out, trying to make a new pre-market high. So that looks very attractive as well on coin. And if I look at Mara, might get going here, but coin's making a new pre-market high right now. That looks interesting. We got Thor. Good morning, my friend. How are you?
Hey, what's up, man? What's going on?
Not much, man. Doing good, doing good. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Good to see everybody out there. Hello, hola, everybody in YouTube land. Nice to see everybody. And good to get us a little trading going on today. It's going to be fun. I actually wasn't planning on being on this morning, so give me a second. I'm kind of getting caught up. I had a few things going on this morning, so I'm trying to get in. Tesla looks like a lot of fun. So,
can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Can you hear me, Thor?
yeah,
Oh, much better, man. We got you good. I'll let
Okay.
you guys do it. Take care.
a profit.
Okay. Good morning. I guess back to the other setup. That seems to work. Yeah,
Seems to be happy. The other side.
seems to be happening.
Tesla looks
yeah.
like a party today, man.
Yeah, we were watching it, Peter, myself, and Jared after the close when it reported, and I just couldn't resist. After I got offline, I just thought this thing keeps going up, so I just bought some after hours. So I've sold most of it this morning here at 244. So
Nice, well done, good for you,
yeah,
man.
ready to-
Great.
Yeah,
I-
I'm done.
I
I'm done
was
for the day,
I was
actually.
looking at this thing. It's been consolidating on top of like this high value area around 215 for like days. I kept thinking to myself, man, I think I'm gonna go ahead and buy some of this. I never did because I just
Yeah.
kind of look at all that selling that just hit. Order books really stacked with a giant block of orders to the downside. Let me get my screen up for those of you in the BBT chat room. So you can see that. Look at this massive order wall on
Wow.
Tesla.
Yeah.
So,
Holy. That's something you don't see.
That's
very
a
often.
lot of buyers. That's a lot of
Yeah.
buyers.
All right. Well,
So you're
we'll
looking
pop
down
up
here.
and-
All of these lines represent people who want to buy. They are limit orders, or institutions who want to buy. Now, are all of these orders going to stay here when the market opens? We'll see.
No.
We will see. But
you'll get the books
on its high news days, Tesla can put in $20 on its high news days. So who knows? If we get up around 250 and we exhaust heavily between 247 and 250, I am not beyond taking a short on this. But right now it needs to, I want it to get a little higher just for the algorithms. And there's a large order sitting up at 250. So I'd be willing to maybe try something there, but Tesla's in earnings play and it's momentum, so it's not my strong suit. So I'm probably going to be looking at Microsoft's been playing nice, AMD has been playing nice, lots of good opportunities. So I might be taking a look at that day, see what happens. But it's going to be a party.
All the semis are partying it up today. NVIDIA, AMD's up a lot. 1.5%. Micron is up to over 2%. Yeah. So bit of a rebound here on SOXL. Yeah, look at Tesla's making its way down here. So I'm pretty much out of this as a swing trade from last night. So I'm just now I'm just going to watch it as because those are different accounts anyway. So I'm going to watch it as a day trade and see what happens.
Tesla at the open is going to be really interesting. So as of right now, when we open in a few minutes here, we've got a ton of bid to the downside. So the only way it goes down is if just an amazingly large amount of volume comes in. So it's probably going to squeeze. As I say,
yeah, there you go.
There it goes. So it was literally just there. It started squeezing. So this is just a squeeze, right? So this isn't obviously it is buying, but because we have very little volume or orders available to the top side, whenever buying comes in, it doesn't require a lot of volume to move the price up, right? So, but you're going to need a ton of volume to move the price down. And in the pre-market, we probably don't get that volume, right? So, but once the market opens, we certainly could. So what I'm going to be looking for at the open is what happens when we open. Do we open, squeeze, kind of think almost like a, we're not under VWAP, but almost think like how you would look like one of Brian's Rising Devils. Do we get a really big squeeze at the open for a hard distribution and then we sell hard down into these buyers? Or is this our new floor? Maybe we just gap and go. Tesla's, I wish I had stats on gap and go for Tesla. I need to run those. That'll be good. I'm going to ask for that. So I'm short a little ES in the pre-market right now because I thought we were all up near R3. So our order book looked pretty weak. So I'm actually holding an ES short already this morning.
Yeah, I'm looking at AMD as a possible short. Do want to go?
Oh yeah, don't forget too as well. We have news that's going to have. I think we have a Fed speaking at 9:45, and then we have news at 10 o'clock. So everyone in YouTube land, especially, don't forget. We have 2 news events that are going to happen in the first 30 minutes of the day. So if you're looking to play ORBs and high of day breaks and all of that. Oh yeah, we have PMI as well, right? So we got a lot of stuff coming out between Fed speaking. We got new home sales. We've got a PMI coming out. We got lots of news coming out between now and 10 o'clock. So don't be overly shocked if the market is a little indecisive for the first half hour today and then does something really crazy for the last part of the day.
Yeah, the PMI is actually 15 minutes in, so it's at 9:45. So here we go.
Ding, 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 people.
Okay.
Woo! That's a lot of selling at the gate. Come on, yes.
All right.
I'm
See
still
where
holding this
things are
short
gonna
on
go.
ES here.
Yeah.
So you can
ES
see
is
here,
weak.
I'm only risked $100 on this one. So, but I'm going to go for S3 on this one. So hopefully be a really nice move.
All right. Just
All
going to
right.
try a short on AMD at the VWAP there. Here we go. Give me a drop, baby. Yes.
Selling just hit Tesla hard.
So I'm short AMD.
They're coming into that big bid.
I'm just going to cover some at this level here at 31. Oh, another nice drop. Yes. Keep going.
Nice. Good work, Brian.
Yeah, just covered some more there.
Really pretty.
Drop. So what are we going to do, AMD? AMD is always choppy at the open. It's going to come back up. It's going
You
to
just
take
hit
me
that
out.
big buyer on Tesla. See if Tesla squeezes off that big buyer. If they go into that buyer again, I wouldn't expect it to buy again. This should be the buy if it's going to. If it runs into that buyer again, it'll probably eat right through it.
A lot of sellers.
They're going to hold. This is the point.
AMD again.
Hey, Jackie N, welcome. I don't have a trade going yet, so there's nothing to see.
Nothing to see here.
I showed you I'm holding a short on the ES right now. I showed you that one.
Yeah. AMD is trying to figure out which direction to go here. But I'm out of it right now. Didn't like that pop up, but I managed to get out of a lot of it. We're just gonna be, might just be choppy.
Yeah, we still got that news coming. So
yeah.
I'm not short Tesla yet, and that bid is starting. Bid, if you can see my book map, everyone in the room, notice how that bid's starting to decline quite a bit. So they are eating through it, but for me, it needs to be higher. I want it to get closer to 250 before I short. It's just a little early.
Bit of a drop on Apple there. AMD had a big drop. NVIDIA had a big drop at the open too. It's kind of fighting its way back.
So we have an interesting stat that's going to come up here in just a second. So we got to keep an eye on we're the SPY. One of the reasons why I was looking to short this morning is because we started gapped up. So if you're, depending on what kind of, information you're looking at, but if you run most programs on gap data, you can actually see here that if we look at the SPY today, we actually opened bearish as far as our bias went because we were gapped up. Anytime we've gapped up, we've filled that gap entirely 3 out of the past 5 sessions, and we do it 70% of the time. So taking a trade back towards, towards PDC, at least at the start today, seemed like a pretty solid idea to start off with.
See if we get some buyers here on NVIDIA. Still struggling to get above the P. Same with
Look at Tesla. See, I told you it was too early to short it.
Yeah. You knew it was going to squeeze. Just going to try a long on NVIDIA at 140.70. Go through 141. Here we go. Here we go. Nice, nice.
Come on, keep going, keep going.
Ooh, selling some. 141.30.
Hopefully some of you, your momentum traders got long on that.
Yeah.
It doesn't fit my system to play that, so I just don't. I really can't. But if you're a momentum trader, I really hope you heard me say this thing's going to squeeze like crazy, and you got a piece of it. Right off the 50 too. I mean, it was just really stinking clean.
Yeah, that was nice. So sold a little more, taking some more off there at 2025 for 141.25 on NVIDIA. It's still going to go here.
There's a big seller. Hit the seller off the book. I like it.
Still watching NVIDIA here, see if it holds the VWAP right now. Let's see if it's going to bounce. It is bouncing a bit off this VWAP. A little bit concerning.
I'm watching Tesla here to see what it does. It's a pretty fun spot.
Yeah. Got up to, that 250 level is probably a big psychological level on Tesla. I'm liking NVIDIA. Hopefully we get, this was a higher low on that pullback, bounce off the VWAP. Maybe we need to really push through now here, this 141.30 level.
Real high value area here too, 249.25. Really big high value area off the daily. We found a really big seller there on the 23rd. That's basically 250.
All right, NVIDIA, come on. We need, want to get to 142 now. That'd be nice. Or maybe this 141.80 area. It's a big R3 level there.
Going to 50. Ooh, what'd you find, Jared?
It's going to 250.
Oh, yeah. Weekly level. Exactly. All right. Well, while I've been distracted with that, what did I miss?
It could be, there's a seller there at 141.30 there. We need to, but they keep knocking on the door on NVIDIA.
AMD's in an interesting spot. But
Yeah,
not a lot of
AMD
volume
is,
this morning.
No, it's kind of choppy. Apple came right back up to where it opened.
Thank you, MM. Don't forget we got news. It's coming in shortly.
I'm getting out of the rest of NVIDIA. I don't feel like I have a edge here now. Doesn't look like it. It might just chop around. I'll just keep an eye on it. But I kind of feel like we're spending too much time here. I know this is where Paris would probably add
For sure.
But it just looks like, yeah, we see we're coming down to the VWAP now. May bounce off there. It's where we bounced before. But again, I just, as Paris would say, it feels like the character of this stock has changed. We all like Paris. Paris is a likable guy. Yeah, see, look at that. Rolled over. I knew it.
I knew it.
Okay. So one trade on AMD, one trade on NVIDIA. Let's see where NVIDIA goes.
I'm still just holding my sweet short that's still working. So I just really don't feel like I need to mess with this yet. Google's getting into some fun spots.
Ooh, Google's really selling off here. It's down at S4 right now, buddy. Is that that's where you're going to take a long? $161.14.
I'm watching. Let's see here. I haven't seen any. The thing I'm concerned with right now is then we have news that's coming out very soon. So I'm a little concerned with getting into a position and then the news coming out. And, you know, I'll show you guys in a second. Well, we'll pull up the ES order book, but there is a really large buyer we're bouncing off of right here. It's a really good spot.
You can see Alphabet kind of hold this area.
So I'm still holding this. After our 8:30 news block came out, we kind of held really nicely, and then we squeezed on low volume, little isolated pivot here. So I went short in here after the news. Stop above the break. I only risked 100, so my actual target is only you know, I'm still going to go for 800, but I went ahead and moved this to S3 to see if I can get a little more out of it. I'm hoping when the news comes out, if it's, you know, maybe we get this thing, get a bit of a drop. We'll see. The one problem with being around news on futures is this could easily, when the news comes out, just wick right back up and in like a few, you know, a couple minutes be out of this thing. So we'll see what happens, especially if the keys go long or something like that.
Yeah. It's a little bit more dangerous to hold your indexes through a earning event versus the.
Jared, did you? I missed it. Did you end up shorting Tesla at 250? Sorry, he meant to say partial Tesla short. That was his answer to that question. So there you go. Good job, buddy. That had Jared written all over it.
Had a Jared rating.
It was an exhaustion area for anyone who had been long, and it was a weekly like high. It's a very, very obvious kind of spot where you would expect this kind of a thing to happen. And it fundamentally lines up with stuff like, you know, if you look back to like last week, just the way the top's out, it looks like something I could throw. I could see Jared tossing some shares in on. Thor, I like the first question better, Tech. We are live streaming, yeah. But
yeah.
Tech says I can't find your love streaming.
Anybody else?
Got to join my OnlyFans.
Anybody else swing Tesla overnight? We had a pretty decent move.
9:45. Ding, ding, ding again. More news.
Nice, Will. I know a few of our traders were saying they made a lot of money on that on Tesla after hours.
What would I look for short? Unfortunately, Tesla's not going to be a play for me. It overshot the level by too much. So it doesn't really fit my strategy set. So I had to go ahead and walk away from that one, unfortunately. Although I think a really nice spot to short it would be right here where Jared's already shorting it. But it just doesn't really fit my stuff. And the order book does have quite a bit of balance to it. I mean, it could go up if it wants to. So it just doesn't really fit me. But I'm still holding this short here on the ES. So we'll see what happens.
There's still a lot of orders at 250, 251, 252 with not a lot of...
It's a really nice spot. One thing I love is the way the volume just struggled as it went back up to 250 right there. We had lower decreased volume as we pulled back into 250. If they were going to buy 250, they would have done that with a lot of volume. So you're seeing a generalized lack of volume to go through 250 and declining, interest in going through it. So if this holds here for too long, especially if the markets keep selling, this could be the spot. Order book is looking a little more bearish now than it was as well, although not decidingly. It might need to UTAD first, so keep that in mind. For those of you in UTAB, or in the YouTube, when I say UTAD, what I mean is, I assume everyone in BBT knows this, but on the YouTube, a UTAD is an upward thrust after distribution. So if they've come up and hit a large seller, what they'll often do is they'll explode through that seller with all the volume in the world they have, basically, just to complete that, to exhaust the buying and to complete the campaign. And then it shoots back down into range and then sells off the rest of the day. SoFi bookmap? Sure, I can do that for you.
Congrats to everybody who who held Tesla overnight. That was buying at after hours was the right thing to do.
Man,
you just know, Tesla. Tesla is such a meme stock,
Yeah.
I mean, like the PE of this company is like more than all the other car companies combined. If you combined all their PEs, but that doesn't matter with a meme stock. Just keeping an eye on Google here. It is a lot of buying. It is still holding this S4. Yeah, it's just it's one of those stocks. He just don't want to.
Big seller just came in on Tesla. It came in on a very tight spread, so it didn't drop the price a lot, but it was quite a few shares. We may be trying to trap retail longs right now on Tesla. Tesla's doing Tesla things right now. If you're just remember, as a retail trader, right, you have to keep this in mind, right? And a lot of people forget this. We're playing in a world that wasn't made for us. You know what I mean? The stock market was not designed for retail trading in any capacity. It was designed to move large amounts of shares, large institutions and funds and investors and stuff like that. Retail, even as like an occupation, really has only been viable maybe for like what, Brian? A decade or so? You know what I mean? Because before round trip, it's like maybe 2 decades at most. Yeah, because I'm talking like round trip tickets for commissions were like $10 each. Platform access, data access, financial access. You know what I mean? Like it really wasn't viable for me, I think, or someone at my financial level when I started to do that maybe 2 decades ago. It was really after you and Andrew started doing this that, it seemed like you guys were almost like the start of a craze, really. I mean, you were really getting into this.
Before this, before the pandemic where things really exploded with almost like what they call the gamification of trading. People had nothing else to do. They couldn't gamble because
Yeah.
there was no horseback riding, no casinos. You couldn't go into a casino. So there you go. Yeah, that was
Jared,
an interesting.
I'm with Jared Smith and you too. How about the big retail traders of the 20s and 30s? That is true, but to say they were retail traders is kind of like, kind of fun. You know what I mean? Because those people had an extreme amount of wealth that they were able to build and utilize, and they were very few, very rare, exceptional people. I'm talking about as it being viable as a retail job for like your average person. Like for instance, PDT in itself, right? When I was born in the 80s, early or 1981, right? PDT didn't exist then, did it? It wasn't until 90s. So let's go with PDT when it started in the 90s, right? That's why I said a very rare, few exceptional people, Jared. But the PDT itself, 25 grand. The average person who worked an entire year's occupation probably made around 25 grand at most. Right? It might have been less than that for your average, actually. I could probably Google it. Right. But because of that, now 25 grand is, it's a halfway decent vehicle. It's not even a nice vehicle with all of the windows rolling up and stuff. You know what I mean? So there's a lot less barriers in the way for retail trading now, including extremely lower commissions, right? And opportunities, order flow, liquidity, fast execution platforms, right? 20 years ago or 25 years ago, you'd have to drive down to Charles Schwab if you wanted to put an order in or make a phone call. So it's just a different world, so we're living in a different world than in a world that wasn't made for us. So we have to be really aware of that when we're trading, right? That these big accounts like Tesla, they're doing big Tesla things. They're working on moving some giant shares in between giant institutions. It's your job not to get caught in the wash.
I was watching Google here. It's right at the 9 EMA on the 2-minute chart. See if it can kind of start to bounce back here. The SPY and the Qs are kind of making a move. One thing I don't like about Google is there's still some big orders at 161 and 160. We're banging up against a big order right now on the book. It's 160, 160.
Oh, thank you, Jared. I earned a like from Jared on that one, at least.
Oh, there you go.
Likes for Thor.
Yeah, we were waiting for PMI that came out at 9:45. And there's nothing else really today. There was PMI services and manufacturing came out at 9:45. Didn't seem to have a big impact.
NVIDIA in an interesting spot.
Yeah, that's right. It's kind of choppy today. It did come down, touch PDC. I kind of missed that trade, actually. Damn. That would have been a good bounce trade.
It just pulled back right into the lower end, like where if I was going to sell, it just pulled right back up into where I would do I would be okay with trying to go ahead and do a short again here if it holds here and tries to move lower. The order book, a little balanced. So I wouldn't mind seeing a little bit more bid on it. But it kind of looks like a fun spot.
All right. Scott Long, a little Google here. 161.57. Let's see where we can head. I'm thinking we're going to head back over 162 maybe. All right, the View app now is okay. Just going to sell a little bit here. Actually, I'm going to sell more. 161.84. We're back at yesterday's close, right? Their low, I should say. We might be heading to the 162 level. That'd be my next fill. There we go. Come on, baby. Yes.
Qs.
Just sold the open 161.95. We kind of got to the 20 EMA there. That's my next, usually my next level that I watch for resistance. Let's go. There we go. Sold some more through 162. I'm running out of shares.
One thing I miss about, like, I wish I traded like you more is the ability to actually get to profit so much faster. I feel like I'm just spending my whole life waiting.
Oh man, I really admire your trading style. This was actually inspired by you. This trade was a Thor trade.
Your Google trade was?
This was a bounce off of S4. I mentioned that earlier.
Yeah, I mean, you're not the only one who took it, you know.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Sure.
I'm with you on it. I'm just in off of
Nice.
S4. I'm in at 160 here. I'm in at 162. It's 161.30. So I like that one a lot. So that looks really fun.
Yeah.
The only problem is I also like NVIDIA for a short right now. So I'm kind of playing the sector kind of two different ways right now, which is fun.
What I liked about this, we went down, we tested 161.14, which was S4. We kind of bounced off it, and then we pulled back, and that pullback was a higher low. It just didn't quite get to S4, and to me that was a signal that the buyers were ready to step in as soon as it pulled back. And they weren't ready to let it drop back down to S4. That green candle on the 2-minute chart where it bounced. It kind of came down almost to S4, and then
100%. It was. Yeah, I loved it. It was really nice. They had a large buyer that it bounced off of right there as well.
Yeah.
They got loud.
Brendan's shorting AMD. It's so wiki.
I'll be
gonna grab nice. Some. Yeah, nice. Ooh, Oakley Dokley came back up. OKLO back to this R2 level. Yeah, it threw a nice doji candle, got down to PDC, yesterday's closing price. It dropped below it pretty hard, but then it ripped right back up. And now it's, let's see if it can get through R2 here, R2D2. So nice to see that. Jared, did you hold any Tesla overnight? I think you were trading it after hours. Yeah, a few people in our room saying they were making thousands of dollars on that move on Tesla. Yeah, Gary. Oh, you did? You bailed after the conference? Okay. I kind of felt like I sold a little bit right at the right when the after hour markets were closing, just to lock in some profits. But I was pretty confident this was going to get into the 240s, maybe even get to 250 next day. That's why I held some.
We just the SPY and the ES just squeezed back to the 50 SMA, and when it hit, it immediately had a seller that was must be following the average. Immediately started selling as it came back to it. It'd be a really interesting moment to watch. I think if we buy through the 50 at this point, we're probably going to squeeze into a seller. So which means we probably pop through them. So we maybe can do a little bit of a squeeze here. But if this seller is stepping down into it, then we could continue. So this would be a really interesting moment in the market to kind of see what happens here.
Okay. Let's see where I'm still looking for PDC on Google. See if we can get there. So
I need 162.70.
Yeah, 162.
Which is basically PDC.
Yeah, 80. Yeah, 162.80 would be yeah. So it just maybe front run it a bit. Yeah, man, this is a trade book, a Thor trade book trade. I love your. You say you want to trade. I want to trade more like you. I want to take two trades that I can hold all day and watch them go from S4 to R4 or vice versa.
It's so one of the things we all got to, I guess, dial into what we're good at, I suppose. And sometimes we don't get what we want. I actually, because I started off I just found I get jigged out by the market too much. I'm not so good at the up and the down part, but I'm kind of good at the bottom and the top. So I kind of just lean into that.
I've watched your videos. I like the way you trade, man. But I'm kind of impatient. I find it hard.
Profit.
Yeah, got a few really good videos in there, webinars Thor has given. So
wow, more selling.
Yeah.
Man, that almost hit my NVIDIA stop.
All
right, so Google, we'll just leave that one on. This one still has a shot because I got it so good in the range that I still think even if the market sells, this trade can hold. So, but if it sells, it'll have to just be that. And I'm going to hang on to NVIDIA. So this is one of those weird decisions, right? When I'm short NVIDIA right now, but I'm long Google, and they're both in the same sector. But Google was an S4 hold, while NVIDIA is an R3 short. right? So they're both in similar ranges, but I'm playing the opposite sides of the ranges. So hopefully one of them will work.
Yeah,
One or the other is like a hedge play almost, using two tech tickers. Unintended hedge
right.
play. Add zeros, not your day, I would say. However, I know what your winning days look like.
Yeah,
So if that's what not your
yeah,
day looks like at only minus
yeah,
$58, then who cares? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
you rule. Like, great job. If that's what your bad day looks like, then exactly, Powell. Like, cheers. You know what I mean?
yeah. That's really good illustration of that you're not always going to be profitable, but your profitable days have to be a lot better than your non-profitable days, and that just shows you've got really good self-control and honoring your stops.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, AMD is still sinking. That's I think Nathan should still be in that trade. Is it Nathan or Brendan? Maybe it was Brendan. I think it was Brendan, actually. Yes, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, Siri. How's it going?
It's starting. The AIs are taking over.
Good
Can you hear me, Thor?
morning. Good morning. PayPal's having a pretty decent day. I'm looking at that for a
Thor,
swing too.
sorry, Brian. Thor, if you're talking to us,
Yeah, no worries.
you're on mute.
I was trying to talk to Siri and get her to tell me if I should short NVIDIA or not. But after I heard Siri helping Brian, I was really hoping Siri would help me.
Can you ask
Yeah.
Siri something for me?
Certainly. As long as it's
Ask,
not what is his bank account.
no. Ask her. How many likes do we have?
Oh.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Hey, Siri, what's the minimum number of likes a show should get to be considered respectable? More than we have right now, is what she said. Oh, that's not very nice.
Wow, it's like a magic 8-ball.
Oh, super rude. Jeez, Siri, what an attitude.
Oh, wow.
That new AI upgrade, gosh, it got spicy.
The new talkback feature.
Yeah, it's the new AI, Apple Intelligence.
Well, I always thought, like, if you're going to have a companion, you know what I mean? Like, it should argue with you. You know what I mean? Because if not, you're really missing out on a lot of the experience. So you should be like, hey, what do you think about this? And it should be like, I don't know. I think you need a job. And I'll be like, what, Siri? Why would you say that?
Is this the right room for an argument? I told you once.
She really wants that new iPhone 16.
All right. Well, no. Let's. I tell you what. Let's give away Andrew's Lamborghini.
I'm
Get some
thinking we
lights.
give away a weekend stay at Andrews while being driven around in his Lamborghini.
Well,
Chauffeured by Andrew.
With the use of the Lamborghini, which is sitting in the parkade right now.
At least it has insurance.
At least. But you got to be from Alberta.
A bunch of topside orders just came in on NVIDIA. Don't squeeze. That was looking so good.
Google, we're just kind of holding here, and yeah, look at PayPal's still moving. People are
The problem
interested
is I
in
don't have the ability to do it.
people are interested in swing trading aspect of trading too. You can always check out my book on Amazon, How to Swing Trade, or the other one, which is a little more inclusive, is sorry.
It's a really good book. One of the things that I really like about the swing trading reference too is even if you don't intend to swing trade, it's a good book to read just to get some ideas, because a lot of his swing trading ideas help you put together like a weekly thought.
Yeah.
So when you're coming in the day, you can actually look and you can say, this is what it's been doing this past week. This is how swing traders would be looking at this. And you would be surprised how much perspective that gives you, especially on opening range plays. So much of the open is actually dictated by how swing traders react to the price movement.
Yeah.
Right. So by understanding this, it really helps dial you in.
It does. A lot of day traders have read my book and said it helped them with their day trading.
Facts.
And like I said, yeah. The other book is Profiting as an Active Trader, a little more in depth. But How to Swing Trade is certainly a good place to start. So we got Tesla. Tesla's really not doing a lot of movement one way or another, although it's coming back up here, getting some buyers again. We've got another big order here that some institution has put in at 250.
Yeah.
AMD
The
is
thing
bouncing
Tesla
back.
can do, because of the aggressive gap, it could just chop up and down through this range for the entire rest of the day and just be annoying.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice UPS trade.
Huh.
What a drop on
Okay,
that.
low. Okay, low is back in the red.
Juan Cruz over in the
you-
YouTube, Brian was asking a question, which you probably will help it. He said, "Do your strategies have names?" I think this is really important. I don't think you can actually call yourself a trader until you make up names for strategies that people already do. So certainly no. Okay. Brian has some real, Brian actually has invented real trades and stuff, but he has a lot of them, he called Rising Devil, Falling Angels, Lead Balloons. He definitely has some really cool ones like that. Mine are really corny. Mine's R3 reversal. Not creative at all. I do need to get better with my naming game. Right now, my naming game leaves a lot to be.
And and the funny part is, some of the people in the community have helped me come up with some of these names as well. So I can't take all the credit for them, but yeah, we have another trade, obviously, the 920 trade, which is really just using the 9 and 20 moving averages. Right now, you could almost say that AMD is setting up to do a 920 trade. It's been it's been dropping. It kind of got through the 9 now on this last
See, you heard
push
it, people
lower.
here. Not only is it great trades, he's also humble and won't admit he came up with all of it. It's okay.
Yeah. I got to give credit where credit is due.
Yeah, I see what you're saying there on AMD. You're right.
Yeah. That's it. It came up through the 9, hit the 20. Now it's rejecting. I didn't take that trade, but that is a trade setup. So the question is, are we going to drop back down below the 9 again? The 9 has turned positive. You can set your slope on your. You can set your slope. Yeah, here we go. It's just been consolidating. I'm just waiting for it to get get its ass in gear. You can set you can use your settings. I like to use the slope indicator as well on my moving averages, so it's just another option. When a moving average is sloping down, it's red. When it starts to turn and slope back up, it's green. So you can see on AMD how again, maybe the character of the stock has started to change again. Oh, that wasn't. I didn't
Interesting
like
volume.
that.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
I really didn't either. Let's see how it absorbs. This will be important here. We need a buyer to step up and buy it pretty much right here. If it goes back to 162, we've got the 50 to try and support us. If it loses that, we're going to lose the 9, the 20, and the 50. That would not be great. Oh, yeah, look at that. Someone came in and bought it right off the 9.
Yeah. There
Was
we
that
go.
you, Brian? Did you just come and buy your own trade? You buying off the 9?
No,
That looked like Brian.
actually it didn't. That kind of break down from a push higher. It is not really something I like to see. Now we've got a seller around 62.40.
The ES and the NQs are also in selling ranges right now, and they are struggling to pick up a bid right now. So I mean, they're it looks like they're trying to actively entice a bid, but they're very, they're not doing a great job at enticing it. So Dalton was asking about, so my short in the pre-market was after the news event. The order book stacked a lot of orders to the downside, and we were in a selling range being up near R3. Since futures I already consider to be open. I don't really actually even consider that to be pre-market because it's the futures. They're actually already open. So once it was already there, selling range is anywhere starting at R3 up to R4. Once you go above R4, you go into a buying range. See what I mean? We tried to push there again on the Q. Again, couldn't get a bid because it's really weak soft line. Actually, if anything, over the past 10 minutes, all of our volume has come when the candles have moved downwards. So it looks like we're actually going to sell a little bit. Let's see. This will be the moment of truth here. NVIDIA started selling again as well. Come on. One of these are going to work. Hedge play. All right, so let's think about this as far as ATR goes. NVIDIA's ATR is $4.70. So let's see if this is still the same. $4.50, 70 would be right about there. Does that get us to 40? Yeah, it basically does. So if it's $4.70, and let's just pretend for a second that the high of day is going to be at our current high of day. This definitely fits the ATR for me here. So I like this. And we are an inside today. So I'm expecting to stay in the range today.
Hey, Thor. Sorry to interrupt. I sent you
Yes,
a message, and I was wondering if you could just do that real quick, just to fix something.
Messages. I don't have my little app open on my computer because it restarted on me. Here we go.
All right, here we go again with Google. Let's see if we can. It keeps pushing into this this seller here that's at 162.40. See if we're going to let it go this time.
All right, so got some more orders on the downside here on NVIDIA. So let's see what happens. What are the chances that our Google one gets PDC before this one? That'd be
Sorry, Thor. That may have made it a little bit worse.
nice.
Oh, wait. No, you sound good.
No?
Talk for me?
Hello? Howdy. Check.
There you go.
Testing. Check.
Howdy.
Testing. 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 5.
Okay,
Why
I think
5?
it's self-correct.
4.
Howdy, partner.
Why is 6 afraid of 7? Because 7, 8, 9. Oh.
So, Thor, you're supposed to
That's
present at 10:30 as well on my
I am?
schedule. Yeah,
Huh.
but I know
Well,
you've been
that's
live
awesome.
trading all day, so it's up to
Yeah.
you whether you want to continue or not.
yeah. Appreciate you jumping in here.
Oh, I don't know if I'll have anything to present on, but I'm sure we could probably hang out and we could probably chat a little bit. I think that
Probably
would be
do
doable.
something.
I did have an appointment at 10:30, so let me see
Ooh.
what I can do.
Oh,
Let
no,
me
if
move
you have
to
an
10:30.
appointment, don't worry about it.
Well,
We've
I
done
was
plenty today.
scheduled though.
Oh, there goes Nvidia's just down
Well,
at
we
PDC.
could do it for
There you
likes.
go.
What are the chances we could get some more? Well, we're doing pretty good on likes today, actually. I'm not hating the likes. Can we do 1050 or 1045?
Here we go. Google's going to try again.
All right. Here goes
This is
NVIDIA.
just
NVIDIA.
yeah, Nvidia went down to PDC and probably going to bounce here. But
So there was our PDC move that we got that.
yeah,
So now let's see what happens. Is it after? It's not after 10:30, so I don't have that yet. If we break our low of day after 10:30, the chances of us breaking through our high of day drop to about 7% on NVIDIA. So if it breaks low of day before, it's like 35 to 40%. If it breaks low of day after, it goes to 7%. It's an incredible stat, but it's very true on NVIDIA. So if I can get this to stay low, and then after 10:30, if it cracks low of day, I mean, it's pretty much a lock that I'm going to hit this target.
And which target are you looking at? Are you looking at S3?
Yeah, a little bit ahead of it, 138.80.
Okay.
Google's
this
getting close too. Stinking
Yeah.
Google's almost there too. I'm looking for 162.69 on Google to the top side. So maybe we can get one big pop on Google that'll get me out of that one. That's NVIDIA specifically, IB.
160, 240 is still has a seller there. Oh, maybe he's stepping down here. We're finally eating through that. Let's see if we can keep moving.
Hey, actually, what we can do is someone was asking how I find those stats. If we can get our likes, and I'll let our program director make a decision on how many likes we need. If we get
thanks
enough
for the
likes,
promotion.
I'll do it. I thought that's what you were. You're not a program director? No?
It's complicated.
It's complicated.
It's complicated.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that. That made me laugh.
That's funny.
I'm still going with program director. I like it. If he's like, you need another 0 now. But if we can get up to what a new user already gave 3 likes. So, but whatever he says, if we can get there, I'll do a little bit of a sesh here on showing you how I get to that data.
Yeah, let's just get to 400. I want to see you.
400 is only 20 likes, 21
fine.
likes.
450,
Yeah.
guys. Get us to 450.
40, 425, 450. Something.
What is it?
425
425.
in there. It's really kind of a
425.
grading scale. The more you like it, the more I'm going to ask for. You know how this
It's the
works.
bell
Yeah.
curve.
So just like it.
Yeah.
All you got,
Come
there's
on.
only so many of you in here. If you all do it, and then,
Come on,
then we don't even have to do it. Just hit it twice.
we're giving away a Lamborghini here with a weekend in a penthouse apartment in Vancouver.
Double ring that bell. Let's go.
Disclaimer: the Lambo is just a photo of a Lambo.
Yeah.
A photo.
But
Wait,
the photo is insured.
it is insured.
And that's,
It is going to be this photo. There you go. And this one. We'll give you both of these photos for free.
And if we get to 500 likes, I might even sign it for you personally.
Oh, that's going to be worth a lot.
all right. I just liked the video. I want to sign.
Yeah, I
a
like
photo
the way
of-
it lost
the
PDC. Actually took a bit of a short.
Here we go,
there.
here we go.
Yes. Beauty.
Come on, baby. Let's go. We've been waiting patiently.
Yeah. I just joined you on that trade, took a bit of a short. We popped up there
Oh, sweet.
after that PDC bounce. Nice.
Come on. That's a lot of volume.
I'll
Come
take-
on. Come get this order.
There you
Come
go.
get this order. Come on.
There
come
you
on,
go.
Come on. Yeah. There it is. Woo. That's how we
All
do
right.
it. All right. Very nice. That is an R3 traverse there. R3 to S3, lower range,
Very nice.
short R3, RTH R3.
For me, that was a 9
feel.
EMA rejection. That was just a moving
Yeah. Look,
average
it pulled
trend.
right. So if you'll see here on mine too. So if I go in here and I add in, I'm going to change my 50. I'll move that and turn that into Brian's exponential 9.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
And then you'll see,
nice
look,
trade
we
here.
pulled right back into it, hammered there, and then rejected it. So he got short right there. Bam! Look at that drop right through PDC. That's beautiful.
Yeah. One of
Okay.
our moderators, Pierre, also took that trade. Very nice, man.
We made it to 435. So Thor,
All right.
when
That's
you're ready,
great.
let me know and I'll share your screen through the chat.
All right, let me get this fixed here. We'll make this simple again. And yeah, I'm ready whenever yous are.
Nice. A few of our other traders took that in the room as well. Way to go, guys. Hopefully some of those YouTube guys, you are on a delay, but got in there as well.
Very nice. And so for the we actually have my screen up now, so you can kind of see what I'm looking at. So you can see the trade I just got on NVIDIA. I was a short here under the open price, held for a short bit and got that really nice drop there. So, and I did all of that actually while I'm still holding an S4 long off of Google. So this one could end up being a loser. It's okay. I kind of just do winners and losers. So if this one comes back, it'll be a 1R loss plus a 4R win, so there'll be 3R for the day, which is what my goal is. And I risk $200 per trade when I take a trade. So if this one becomes a loser, I still make $600 a day. Not bad. So someone over there out in YouTube earlier, and this is why we kind of pulled over, and thanks for the likes. Really appreciate that. Was asking a question about how we came up with some of this really fun data that we were talking about. So one of the stats that I like to pull off of is off of this really cool site. And we're actually working on, we'll probably have some discount codes for you guys in the next, in the next like week or so for some, saving you some on this. But it's a site called Edgeful is what I use. And they're a big data aggregator for stock trading data. So, and you can go through here and you can they come through here and you can get a lot of stats. So I've built out a bunch of custom stat reports and platforms. So you could see here actually at the open, because of the way we were gapped, we had ourselves on the SPY as being bearish, right? And with the SPY being on bearish, we were looking at a target of at least 577.91 as far as a target goes on that. So if you pull starts, we open up, here's our open here. We open low, and we're still not filled to our target of 577.91, which is a return. Let's get a 15-minute chart because you'll need to see it. That's PDC. We're looking to get back down to around PDC is. Now, why is this expectation here? Well, the reason is because if you we can go to our toolbox here, and we have this gap fill report. And what you can see is when we are gapped up, right? The SPY has a certain behavior versus when we're gapped down, and that happens in a significant imbalance. So if the SPY is gapped up, we actually fill that gap to the downside 67% of the time. We'll fill 100% of that gap, right? So you're talking if you go as low as 75% of that gap, right? We actually fill that 72% to 73%. So you basically, no matter where you open on the SPY, 3/4 of the time you're gonna fill 3/4 of the gap, right? So it's very easy in the mornings when you're coming in and looking at putting a strategy together. If the SPY is gapped up that day, a lot of people out there naturally come right in and say, hey, the SPY is gapped up today. Things are really strong. I'm going to start buying. This is evidence for why you wait for it to come back to PDC, right? Because most often, even on a strong day, we will come down and fill our gap to PDC, then go off of PDC and rally, which is, if y'all follow Jared in here, you'll hear him call PDC the king of all levels. And, here you can see a fairly clear indication why. Now, in a very similar fashion, right, because Brian and I are both still long on Google, right? Or at least I am. I don't know if Brian's still holding it, but I'm still holding still holding that Google trade, right? So you can see here on Google.
Yep.
Yeah. So on Google, I'm still holding here. Now, Google opened right at PDC, so I don't get this gap stat on Google. But there's a stat I really do like for Google, right? And this is actually our IB report, or our initial balance breakouts, right? So on if we go up here and we follow Google, hold on, let me X this, Google. You can actually look here in Google. Google, if it breaks its IB, which is our 1 hour high and low, Google double breaks that only about 12% of the time, right? So basically, if it breaks its high or low of day, it's most likely going to stay on that side of the range, or if not, continue on 70% of the time, right? So what and this is 87 out of the last 126 trading days. So that's only 6 months, right? If I run it back like for a year stat on this thing, right, you can see it's actually higher than that. It's about 75% on the yearly stat. So for me, if this breaks high of day after 10:30, and it is after 10:30, there's no reason I wouldn't expect this just to even keep on going. So now my target is only here, right? But if my target was up here at R3 and it broke high of day, this would be a trade I'd be interested on hanging on to, because there's very little chance it's going to sell all the way off and come back down. And since our ATR on Google is $3, and I'm coming off of 61, I could expect a movement to 64, which would be like a return to pre-market high, a little more, a little less. So that's pretty doable.
Now might be a good time for Thor and Brian, if you want to stay, take a few questions from the BBT chat room and YouTube.
Sure.
Yeah, sure. We'll hang out here. A little Q&A.
I'm hoping I get filled here in a second, the rate we're going. See how close this gets.
Yeah, here we go. Google's finally getting some bit of a breakout here. Look how they dropped it down to the VWAP on that last pullback just to pick up some more shares.
Mm-hmm.
VKTX. What's VKTX doing today?
Oh, nice, Avi.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
VKTX. Holy crap. It's on a tear. Shit, I looked at that yesterday too. Thinking about it as a swing trade. Damn.
I forget the exact price. It's like $50 a month or something. It's a relatively inexpensive for what you get out of it. It's incredibly inexpensive for what you get out of it. The thing we're working on right now, and this is a little inside baseball for everyone in the YouTube, but plus everyone in BBT, what I'm working on right now is actually I'm trying to build out my pivot strategies for a new pivot bot, and then we're going to be using Edgeful data. So what I'll do is the pivot bot will have all of the rules for the system in which the way we want to do the system and play the system. And Edgeful, all one word, EDGEFUL. And then we're gonna query hopefully their API and pull the stat data off of it to help bolster the calls. So it should be pretty cool. This is a good question for Brian. Kevin is asking, what expiration range do you like to day trade options?
Oh, it has to be, you have to try to stick with the weeklies. And so you're getting the shortest duration as possible, because you'll get the most beta, or at least the most move in the underlying option price compared to what the stock price. So you've got to stick with the shorter duration, and I think that's sort of general consensus. I mean, that's my approach, but I think that's pretty much general consensus as well with our traders that are using options to day trade. And the only other comment I'd make about using options to day trade is you really have to be sure that you're to trade options that are liquid. Like, you don't want to have some random, be trading options on some stock that just doesn't have a lot of options activity, because you're going to be paying a real penalty with a spread. So if you stick to things like...
Well, I know there's something too, if you don't do that, you have to start worrying about like the premium decay and that stuff, right? So it's like you get into it, you hold it all day, and by the time you sell it, it's not worth anything.
Well, it depends how close you are to Friday, because that's those when the weeklies expire, unless of course it's a holiday. But if you're in Monday and Tuesday, you don't have to worry too much about the theta. But if you're if you're trading it on a Friday, and it's expiring at the end of the day, that's that's going to be you got to be more concerned about that for sure. But if you look at I'm just trying to find one here. Starbucks is actually not too bad. Stocks like Nvidia, probably one of the highest traded options stocks. You got about a 10-cent spread between the bid and the ask. But if you get to something a little bit different, you might have 25 or 30 cents if it's not traded very actively. So just be sure you're trading options on stocks that have a lot of activity. Wow, the Q's really turned and burned, eh?
Yeah, right. Well, you got to start picking up the move here. They're trying to help our Google trade get to PDC.
Well, that's what I'm hoping. I'm
really nice of them. So I got two questions, and then I'll probably get out of here because I have an appointment I have to run to at 45. But so one of them was from in the BBT room, and it was a question about my book map and how I get it to look so clear. So if you go up into your studies configuration, they have under the heat map, you can see here where it has vertical smoothing and averaging. Yours is probably set to auto. And when you set it to auto, it just kind of like uses this Gaussian blur basically on everything. So if you go and select none is generically going to be too much cleanness, too clear, too precise, although probably better than auto. So I like to go to manual, and it just means every time you get a new ticker, you're going to have to just adjust it for each one, but it saves per ticker, which is nice. And then I'll dial it down like that until I get a nice clean spot where I can really see the blocks of sellers and the buyers. And then over into the YouTube, there was a risk question. If you risk 100, do I take 200 shares with 50 cents loss or 100 shares with $1 loss? Where do you set your risk with trades? So my recommendation, rustic elegance, is that you utilize a fixed risk hotkey of some method or some auto calculating method, so you don't have to do that mentally. I trade lots of tickers of multiple price levels, and I do not have the maths in my brain. I actually laugh, and we all say my math's not strong sometimes. To actually sit here and say, okay, if I'm going in at 161.32 and I want to risk this price level of 160.99, I'm going to take how many, the trade's gone by the time I put all that math together in my head. Right. So what I do is I have fixed risk hotkeys, and you can get them in here in the community if you'd like. Come on, we have them for most platforms. We have some kind of a risk system that's built for it. So I just double click on the chart where I want it is, and my fixed risk key is fixed risk. So every time I hit the button, I risk $200 on my trade. Doesn't matter if I'm on a $160 ticker or an $80 ticker, I'm going to risk $200 in that trade, and the platform calculates how many shares I need in order to do that. Equalizing my risk was one of the number one things that I personally did to help regularize my trading consistency, right? Where I'm able to actually, because the problem a lot of people have, DOS or DOS Trader does it. It's a lot of the things that used to happen with me is one trade, I lose $50 or I win $50. And then on the next trade, I lose $100. So now every time I hit the button, I know exactly how much I'm trying to win, because I also have my hotkey also puts my auto targets on and my stops. Right. So I know exactly how much I'm looking to win out of every trade once I get in, and exactly how much I'm going to lose and where that stop is and where that target is. Right. And then so it takes a lot of the guessing, out of the trading process for me. And as I conclude this sesh, one thing I will tell everyone out there, that as to gain confidence as a trader, you'll never know what's going to happen in the market. Although we call Brian the prophet of profit, he technically is only semi-prophetic. So there actually is some stuff, but that's because he went to Egypt and took all the pyramid power. But that's just a different story. But but the reality is he's an insanely good risk manager, right? So, and he knows what he's going to do based upon the varied scenarios, and that's confidence. Confidence isn't knowing what will happen; it is knowing what you will do based upon what could happen. Right. And as long as you can stay in line with that, you'll find trading significantly easier. Like right now, I'm not panicked about Google pulling back there to the 50 SMA, because this might be a losing trade. If I lose the P&L on this one, it's no big deal. I already won a trade. Right. If I take this trade off now, I'm definitely not going to hit my target. So I might as well just sit back, have a good time talking with you, and then just let the market take care of the rest. So appreciate everybody out there in YouTube land. I'm going to go ahead and cut for the morning. But I hope y'all had a fun time. For everybody in BBT, don't forget, on Thursdays, we have an evening session. It's at 8 p.m. Eastern in the webinar room. So come by, hang out. We'll do mentoring. Any questions that you have, guaranteed to be almost 100% accurate. So make sure you come by and we'll do that. Everyone in YouTube land, again, thank you so much for the likes and the fun interaction. I'll talk to you all soon. And of course, to the prophet of profit, cheers, brother. Always great trading with you.
Hey, great. Good to hang out with you, Thor. Always love trading with you. And even made some money today using one of Thor's famous strategies. So that's it. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. If you wanted a little more info on options trading, you can always check out my book too as well on Amazon called How to Trade Options. So you need a little more info on that. And yeah, that's it. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you tomorrow.